Today we're going to be talking about removal interruption in Yu-Gi-Oh! What type of effect is best? We're going to be ranking them from S tier all the way to D tier because I don't think there is even going to be an F tier over here, but I was looking through the popular things over on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Side of the tier list section. I wanted to make a tier list, and this was something that apparently a lot of people do, so I'm going to give my take on it, okay? Let's get started with Destroy. This is no longer something that's like crazy good because I'm thinking back in the day, back when you used to run things like Sakuretsu armor. That used to be a goated card. I used to run 3 copies of that bad boy, but Destroy definitely still has its uses, and I might end up moving it down, but I think it's still useful, and I'm going to put it over to, you know what, it's B tier, because B is good, C is neutral, D is not good. That's where I'm going to put it. So we're going to start off with just flat out destroying the B tier. Too many things nowadays have self-destruction protection, okay? Now, one that's a little bit better is Send to the Graveyard. This gets around a lot of things that can't be destroyed. You know, or especially if it's something that doesn't target, where it's like, send all cards to the graveyard. This thing is definitely, and guys, please forgive me over here if I'm out of the loop, okay? I'm a returning player. I'm an old player. I'm still getting the hang of the modern game again. I've been playing a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Genesis, okay? I still think that Send to the Graveyard is very, very good, so I'm going to put this one over into the S tier. Now, Banish and Banish Face Down. I kind of look at these the same. Banish used to mean something a lot more because now, Banish used to mean, literally, remove from play what it used to be. It used to matter, and there were very few cards that could bring things back from the Banish Zone, but nowadays, you have access to the Banish Zone kind of like the Graveyard, so I still think it's good. It's better than just flat out destroying because, again, a lot of things have built-in protection. I don't really see too much of a difference between Banish and Banish Face Down, but this is probably better than the S tier, so Banish and Banish Face Down, we're going to put it just ahead of Sending to the Graveyard. Now, returning to the hand. Okay. I don't know, man, because I think this one's also excellent. That just might be my favorite one. I'm thinking over the years, I've always run Storming Mirror Force. I've always run a bunch of those. I've always run a bunch of compulsory evacuation device cards. I've always run Penguin Soldier in my old decks. I've always been a big fan of cards that end up returning to the hand, especially if it's putting on a card to the top of the deck too. I like those ones a lot. I feel like you can hit more cards with a return to the hand effect than you can with Banish, Banish Face Down, Send to the Graveyard. I don't know. I'm willing to hear, oh man, I'm already, no matter what this is going to be, I'm about to hear about it in the comments about never cook again, never rank again, but I'm putting that one return to the hand over into the S tier, okay? Shuffle into the deck. Are we just going to put them all into the S tier? This one I like a lot more because, again, so many decks, they have access to the graveyard, they have access to the Banish Zone. Even if you return to the hand, it's probably something that they can get back out again. I love cards that shuffle back in the deck. I know we're talking about older formats again, but I've always been a big fan of things like Rise of the Storm Monarch, Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. I've always loved things that in particular return things to the top of the deck so you can interrupt your opponent's next draw, but shuffling back into the deck is great too. This one is definitely going into the S tier, okay? Tribute Effect. Okay, so this one, I mean, it's probably good. I'm thinking about cards where it's like, when your opponent activates this, or when your opponent activates blank, quick effect, you contribute this card to do this. I think it's good. The only problem is you end up destroying a monster, but you probably just have a, you probably just have a, an effect to negate it, so it's probably on the destroy category. I'm going to put this one to the B tier. Tribute for cost. I'm not really understanding what that one's about, so we're just going to move that down here, guys. I'm sorry about that. And then Tribute for Inherent Summon. Don't know what that means either, so we're going to put that down there. Now, attached to XYZ monster. Actually, I really like this one. This one gets around a lot of effects where you don't have to destroy it. You don't have to send it to the graveyard. You don't punish them, but you put it in the Banish Zone. You take control completely away from your opponent. It kind of becomes your own monster. And then on top of that, it gives you another XYZ material to use your own effects on. I'm very for this one. Very for attached to an XYZ monster. This one might be the best. The best ever? Yeah, you can negate this when your opponent does this, blah, 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 negate the effect, and then end up returning it or taking control of it, attaching it to your own monsters and XYZ material. This is better than shuffling it back into the deck. Top of S tier over here, attached to an XYZ monster. Use as Fusion, Synchro, or XYZ Link material effect. Again, very... Oh no, why are so many things going into the S tier? There's no way we're going to have this whole video full of S tier and B tier. There's no way, okay? They all have to fit somewhere. But I love this one too. It's quite literally like the same thing as attaching to an XYZ monster. It gets around a lot of things, and you use your opponent's card for something that you would be using yourself. This one's S tier too, but I'm going to put it behind attached to the XYZ monster because it's really useful to have as that XYZ material, okay? This is doubled up over here. Take control. That's very vague, so I'm going to assume it means permanently take control. That's also something that I've also really, really liked. Now, but the problem with that is you can get a really good card. Like if your opponent has a boss monster out or something that's significant or just an effect that anybody can use, that's great. But taking control of a lot of cards also really means nothing for me, and you're just kind of taking it away from the opponent. So but it's also always good to just have your opponent's monster. There's usually things that you can figure out to do with it. But I think this one's going to go into our first as A tier, not quite over S tier, okay? Change to face down defense position. This used to matter a lot more in older formats. I'm thinking like Book of Moon was a staple that everybody used to run, but nowadays there are very few things. Like I know there's archetypes out there that benefit off of these types of things, but I think this is going to be the first C tier that we talk about, okay? Equip to a monster. If we're talking about, like, again, we're talking about removal interruption. So you stop something and then you equip it to a monster. It's kind of like attaching to an XYZ material monster. That kind of stands out. You get the same benefits from it, but it's probably, the monster that says, like, okay, equip it to a monster, and then when a monster's equipped to this card, this happens. So you probably still get that benefit, right? I'm putting this right with attached to XYZ monster. Actually, dare I put an SS tier, because I actually do think that these two stand out. And I'm gonna do that. Yeah, sorry about the jump cut there, guys, because I think that these two actually stand out. So I think these are the best ones, and then I think everything else is an S tier. Like, it's really, really good in the S tier. Of course, it's an S tier, but I think those two actually stand out a little bit. Place in the spell and trap card zone. It's archetype specific, I guess. Maybe I'm just out of the loop on this one because, again, I am a returning player over here, but I'm gonna put this one over into the C tier. It happens. Move. Situational. Situational, depending on the link monsters, where they are. I don't know how often this is helpful. That's the issue. From an outside perspective, in comparison to everything else that we've been talking about, I think this is also going to be a C tier. Let's continue on. Negate the effect of a face-up card. It's okay. It's okay if you're just going to negate the effect of one face-up card, or negate the activation of a card effect too. I mean, there's a lot of negates over here. Pretty much all of the negates, like negate the effect, negate the summon, negate the activation of a card effect, negate the effect of a face-up card. Those are all just okay. I would say they're a little bit better than what we've been talking about in the C tier, so I'm going to put them all over here into the B tier for the negates, okay? Let's continue to change that effect. When a card has, like, changes effect to doing something, usually it's very beneficial. Actually, something that I'm using in the Genesis format right now, I've been playing Dark Worlds, and it is supremely helpful to have effects where it goes, oh, your opponent can't do this anymore, and the effect becomes your opponent discards one card, and then when your opponent's effect discards a Dark World card, something crazy significant happens that benefits your end. So I actually like the change the effect thing. I'm not going to I'm not going to knock it because it's like, oh, well, when this happens though, usually like there is a benefit to come from it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to put this one over into the A tier. I'm going to put it right behind Take Control. Change card's name. I can't think of anything. There's got to be a benefit to this. But we're talking about removal and interruption here, right? That's literally the point of the tier list. It says removal and interruption tier list. If we were just talking about regular effects, and I can see the benefit for it, but I guess this one might just be our first D tier over here. Now, zone cannot be used. I haven't seen a lot of people using these types of things in recent times. Maybe I'm just, again, out of the loop. Maybe it's like because of link monsters. I don't play the modern game that much. I very, very rarely do. Again, I'm a big Yu-Gi-Oh! Genesis guy, so maybe there's more cards where the zones cannot be used, but I remember everybody using things like, was it OddsJam Trio? No. There was a card that was almost a staple back in the day. Oh, I can't remember it. It's not OddsJam Trio. There was a card that was a staple back in the day where you just flat out pick two of your opponent's zones and they couldn't be used, and then people would like double those cards up. That sneakily was pretty helpful. But I don't think it's as good as everybody else's talk, like as everything that's in the B tier right here. So I'm going to put this one over into the top of C tier, but it's good. It cannot be used for a material for a summon. Too situational. D tier for that one. D tier. This cannot activate its effect I feel like it's in the same category as like negate the activation of card or an effect, but it's a little bit more permanent, just saying it cannot activate its effect instead of negating the effect. So we're going to put this one ahead of the negations over here. Hand loop, discard, send to the graveyard. Hand loop, banish. Hand loop, return to the deck. So I'm guessing, steal by summon, set to the field. I don't even know what this one means. We're going to move that one down. Return to the deck. I'm thinking this means hand trap. You know, I'm going to look it up. Oh, so I was very wrong on this. A hand loop in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a combo that forces your opponent to discard, banish, or shuffle cards out of their hand before they even get to use them. Okay. That changes a lot. So an effect that makes your opponent discard or send to the graveyard, an effect that makes your opponent banish or return to the deck. Okay, this is very strong then. I've always been, again, guys, I've always been a very big fan of returning to the deck. So I think honestly, these are probably all S tier because it starts creating minus situations for your opponents, right? So where in the S tier are these going to go? Return the hand, shuffle the deck. It's probably better, right? So, okay, let's go discards into the graveyard. I think discarding can work against you. So discarding is going to be into the B tier. I'm going to put it right behind Tribute. And for the banish, it's a little bit better. I'm going to put this one over into the A tier. I'm probably going to put it right behind Take Control and Return to the Deck. Return to the Deck is something that is much, much more helpful. So, Return to the Hand, though. This gets things that are presently an issue off the field. Banish, banish face down, send to the graveyard. So I'm going to put this one at the bottom of S. It's very, very good. Extra deck removal. Situational. Situational for this one. So I'm going to put this one over into the C tier. I'm going to put it right behind Place and Spell and Trap Card Zone. Mill. This is straight up bad nowadays because you always want to mill cards. In pretty much every deck, you want to start sending cards to the graveyard. So, nope. Banish top of the deck face down. If it's just like one card from the top of the deck face down, it's very unlikely that you get something that's like, oh my god, that's just game breaking. So it's right there with mill. We're going to put it in the D tier. Skip draw phase, main phase, and skip battle phase. Interesting. The draw phase in the modern game, something like this matters a lot less. So I'm going to put this one into the C tier. I'm going to put it right behind Place and Spell and Trap Card Zone. Skip main phase is a little bit better. A little bit better, but they can just get going in the main phase too. So it's basically skipping the battle phase. That's probably like pretty much the same thing, to be honest with you. So skipping your battle phase, just going straight into the main phase too. I feel like that's pretty helpful. I'm going to put both of these at the bottom of the A tier, okay? Now reduce the attack and the defense. I don't know. That doesn't really matter all that much anymore. Everybody has like busted cards now, right? I'm going to put this one in the C tier. It's not that great. Do we want to put it... I'm going to put it right, actually, probably the bottom of the C tier for this one. Hey, okay, we started off with a bunch of S's and a bunch of B's, but we've diversified as we continued on over here, okay? Tribute for cost and tribute for inherent summon. I still don't understand what those means. I'm sorry over here, but the hand loop I now understand. Steal by summoning and set to the field. Do you mean like stealing your opponent's cards? I'm sorry, guys. There's a couple things I don't understand over here that I'm going to leave right here. Banish from the graveyard or face up in the extra deck. If you're interrupting something, again, we're talking about removal. We're talking about interruptions over here. That's probably helpful. That's a little bit situational too. But it is good. I'm going to put this one over to the bottom of the B tier over here. And shuffle from graveyard, banishment, or face up into the extra deck. You could probably... It's probably a little bit more of the same as the banishment. I think some of these are getting a little too specific because it kind of seems to have the same deal. So I'm going to put them together on that one. Use as a fusion, synchro, or XYZ link material inherent. Okay, I don't know what the inherent means by that. But if you're just going to use your opponent's monster as a fusion, synchro, XYZ link material, I feel like we already took a look at something like that. Return to the deck, take control, skip main phase. I guess we didn't. Cannot activate its effects. I thought, like, it's kind of probably on the take control type, right? It's always good. It's very, very helpful. Return to the deck. Oh, yeah, no, it is up here. Uses frame... So the effect and inherent, I don't understand the difference between that, but it's probably not that big of a deal, so we're going to put both of them together right there. Target, non-target, make your opponent excluded. So target, I'm going to leave these ones as is, guys. I'm sorry, I don't understand these last little ones, and hopefully this old player over here, and you know, it'd be fun because I'm playing the game. I've been getting back into the game over time, right? It's going to be really interesting to come back and circle around to this because I'm going to stick with the game. And as I get a little bit more experience with the modern game, and I know that Yu-Gi-Oh! Genesis isn't quite the modern game, but it's getting there. You have all of those cards, you have all the effects besides the link ones. Like, I won't really experience any move cards, or will I ever experience any move cards? It's going to be fun. Maybe I'll take a look back on this in a year, but let me know where I'm wrong, because again, I'm always looking to be better. I'm always looking to play better, and I thought it'd be fun as an old player coming back to this to take a look at what my take on how all these would be. I could definitely talk about this when it comes like the Edison format, hat format, stuff like this, and I could have a very, very solid take on a lot of these for you guys. But I think the best two are attached to an XYZ monster and equip to monster. But let me know if I'm right. Let me know if I'm wrong. I'd love to know what you guys think. And if you want to break down another tier list video, let's talk about the bricks of Edison format over here, guys. I'd love to have you over there. Thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you so much for your time today. Take care, everybody.